Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are back with more congressional donors. As always, have my notebook with me. This will be volume 20. We have a lot of catching up to do, especially if I want to try to get these people before the next income of new congressional members. Let's go ahead and hop into this. First person we're going to talk about today is Mike Conaway. He's 72-year-old, and he is the representative for the 11th District of Texas. He is a Republican, and he is serving his 8th and last term in the U.S. House. He graduated from Texas A&M University of Commerce in Commerce, Texas. He was in the U.S. Army. He was a certified public accountant. He was a bank executive, a member of the Midland, Texas School Board, and had an unsuccessful run for Congress and elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. And oh yeah, since I forgot, thank you for serving our country. I think it's supposed to be slightly tilted like that or something, but I've never been in the military. I just feel it's, something I want to say thank you for serving. But anyway, the House committees he is on are the Committee for Agriculture, of which he's a ranking member, and the Committee for Armed Services, and he is on the Select Committee on Intelligence. Now, his top 5 individual donors. At the top, we have Home Depot. It is a multinational hardware chain headquartered in Cobb County, Georgia. They donated $10,000. Next is M3P Energy, a Texas energy company based in Midland, Texas. They donated $5,600. Next is the American Association of Crop Insurers. They provide federal government representation for the full spectrum of the crop insurance industry, and they are headquartered in Washington, D.C. They donated $5,000. Next is the American Bankers Association, which is a trade association for U.S. banking industry based in Washington, D.C. They donated $5,000. And finally is AT&T, an American multinational conglomerate holding company, and is the world's largest telecommunications company, and they are based in Dallas, Texas. They donated $5,000. That brings us to his top 5 industry donors. At the top, we have agricultural services and products, which altogether donated $32,250. Then oil and gas, which altogether donated $32,000. Then retired people, which altogether donated $31,734. Then livestock, which altogether donated $23,950. And lastly, crop production and basic processing, which altogether donated $23,700. And once again, that was Mike Conaway. Next person we're going to talk about is Jerry Connolly. He's 70-year old, and he represents the 11th District of Virginia. He is a Democrat, and he is serving his 6th term in office. He graduated from Mary Knoll College in Glen Ellen, Illinois. He graduated Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He's been a business executive, a non-profit organization director, a member of the Fairfax County, Virginia Board of Supervisors, chairman of the Fairfax County, Virginia Board of Supervisors, before finally being elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. His House committees are the Committee for Oversight and Government Reform and the Committee on Foreign Affairs. His top 5 individual donors. At the top, we have Apex Covantage, a firm providing outsourced project management and consulting services. The company assists businesses in executing knowledge, information, and communication strategy. Apex serves industries such as the academic and professional, publishing, manufacturing, healthcare, telecommunications, and wireless cable. They are based in Herndon, Virginia. They donated $16,000. Next is Northrop Grumman, a global aerospace and defense technology company based in Falls Church, Virginia, one of the largest arms traders in the world. They donated $14,045. Next is Amazon.com. Pretty self-explanatory, the website. They donated $13,500. Next is Fairfax County, Virginia. Again, pretty self-explanatory. They donated $13,394. And finally is Granite Telecommunications. It's a company that offers broadband, business security, structured cabling, telephone, voice, and wireless database services. It serves customers throughout the United States and is based in Quincy, Massachusetts. And they donated $11,200. Now, let's look at his top 5 industry donors. At the top, we have retired. Altogether, they donated $116,826. Next is public sector unions. Altogether, they donated $92,778. Next is electronics manufacturing and equipment. Altogether, they donated $91,745. Next is lawyers and law firms. Altogether, they donated $74,049. And lastly, real estate. Altogether, they donated $70,010. And once again, that was Jerry Connolly. Next person we're going to talk about is Paul Cook. He is 77-year-old and is the representative for the 8th District of California. He is a Republican and serving his 4th term in the U.S. House, and I believe it is also his last term, if I remembered correctly. Yeah, it was his last term as well. He is a Republican. Okay, I didn't say that. He graduated from Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven, Connecticut. Um, he graduated from California State University in San Bernardino, California. He graduated from the University of California in Riverside, California. He's been a member of the U.S. Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. He's been a professor, a member of the Yucca Valley, California Town Council. He was the mayor of Yucca Valley, California, and he was a member of the California State Assembly before he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. His House committees are the Committee on Armed Services and the Committee on Natural Resources. Now, let's look at his top 5 individual donors. At the top, we have ESRI, Environmental Systems Research Institute, is an international supplier of geographic information system software, web GIS, and geodatabase management applications. It is headquartered in Redlands, California. They donated $5,600. Next is Innovative Federal Strategies. They are a company that provides business consulting services, and they are based in Washington, D.C. They donated $5,500. Next is Diversified Pacific Development, a construction company based in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Altogether, they donated $5,153. Next is Airline Pilots Association, the largest pilot union in the world, representing 63,000 pilots from 35 U.S. and Canadian airlines based in Washington, D.C., and they donated $5,000. And finally, we have the American Maritime Officers, a national labor union affiliated with the Seafarers International Union of North America, and they are headquartered in Dania Beach, Florida. Altogether, they donated $5,000. Now, his top 5 industry donors. At the top, we have casinos and gambling. Altogether, they donated $43,200. Next is transportation unions. Altogether, they donated $25,500. Next is building trade unions. Altogether, they donated $20,000. Next is building materials and equipment, which altogether donated $15,000. And finally, lobbyists, which altogether donated $14,550. And once again, that was Paul Cook. Next person we're going to talk about is Chris Coons. He is 56-year-old, and he is one of the senators from Delaware. He is a Democrat and serving his 2nd term in the U.S. Senate. He graduated from Amherst College, graduated from Yale University Law School, and graduated from Yale Divinity School. He worked in the nonprofit sector. He was an attorney. He served as president of Newcastle County Council in Delaware, and he was also a county executive of the Newcastle County, Delaware, before being elected to the U.S. Senate. Now, his Senate committees are the Committee on Appropriations, Committee on Foreign Relations, Committee on the Judiciary, the Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and he's on the Select Committee on Ethics. Now, his top 5 individual donors. At the top, we have Apollo Global Management, a global alternative investment managing firm that specializes in investing across credit, and they are headquartered in New York City, New York. They donated $88,300. Next is Young, Conaway et al. Their full name is Young, Conaway, Stargett, and Taylor. They are an American law practice based in Wilmington, Delaware. Altogether, they donated $80,100. Next is Jane Street Capital. They are a global proprietary trading firm headquartered in New York City, New York. Altogether, they donated $58,700. Next is Paul Weiss et al. Full name is Paul Weiss Rifkin Wharton and Garrison LLP, and they are an international law firm headquartered in New York City, New York. Altogether, they donated $33,900. And lastly is Amgen Incorporated. They are formerly known as Applied Molecular Genetics Incorporated, and they are an American multinational biopharmaceutical company based in Thousand Oaks, California. Altogether, they donated $33,000. Some big donors as far as monetary wise, and it doesn't stop there. Let's look at his top 5 industry donors. At the top, we have lawyers and law firms, which altogether donated $653,357. Next is securities and investment, which altogether donated $635,238. Next is real estate, which altogether donated $229,541. Next is pharmaceuticals and health products, which altogether donated $225,005. And finally is leadership PACs, which altogether donated $178,600. And once again, that was Chris Coons. The last person we are going to talk about is Jim Cooper. He is 66-year-old, and he represents the 5th District of Tennessee. He is a Democrat, and altogether he is serving his 15th term in the U.S. House. He did have a break in between all these terms. His first round of terms was from 1983 to 1995, and then the most recent one is 2003 to now. So he did have about an 8-year break in there. So he graduated from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He graduated from Oxford University in Oxford, England. And he graduated from Harvard University Law School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He's been a private practice lawyer. He's been an adjunct professor at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. He was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives He then had an unsuccessful re-election in 1994. He became an investment banker, and then he was elected again to the U.S. House of Representatives. His House committees are the Committee on Armed Services, and the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, and the Committee on the Budget. Now, his top 5 individual donors. At the top, we have L3 Harris Technologies, an American technology company, defense contractor, and information technology services provider that produces CGSIR systems and products, and wireless equipment, tactical radios, avionics and electronic systems, night vision equipment, and both terrestrial and space-borne antennas for use in government, defense, and commercial sectors. They are headquartered in Melbourne, Florida. Altogether, they donated $15,000. Next is Vanderbilt University. Pretty self-explanatory. They donated $11,750. Next is Lockheed Martin, an American global aerospace defense, security, and advanced technologies company with worldwide interests. They are headquartered in North Bethesda, Maryland. Altogether, they donated $9,000. Next is Vanderbilt University Medical Center, which altogether donated $8,550. So he not only gets it from the university itself, but from its medical center. So he's very tied to Vanderbilt. The last one we want to talk about is Northrop Grumman, a global aerospace and defense technology company based in Falls Church, Virginia. One of the largest arms traders in the world. Altogether, they donated $7,500. Now, let's talk about his top 5 industry donors. At the top, we have retired, which is wonderful. They donated a total of $51,251. Next is lawyers and law firms, which altogether donated $48,150. Next is defense aerospace, which altogether donated $26,300. And next is Democratic Liberal Groups, which altogether donated $26,000. And finally, Defense Electronics, which altogether donated $25,000. I will try to have the new information links in the description below. But as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll see you all in the next episode. But until then, later.